Hello, my name is Elizabeth and I will be pitching a grant proposal for Fundación Origen. Fundación Origen is an NGO founded in 1995. Our mission is to integrally empower women who suffer from vulnerability situations like violence or poverty by giving them tools to access opportunities. All this to improve their life conditions and also their families. Our main activities are the Hotline for Violence, in which we also give advisory to migrants in foreign countries. We have 6 home centers in different states of the Republic, in which we train craftswomen in different communities. Emergency programs like the 19S, in which after the earthquake that occurred in 2017 in Mexico City and several other states, we help families. And awareness campaigns, in which we promote health. Our beneficiaries during 2017 and 2018 reached up to 200,000 people through calls. We helped more than 5,000 craftswomen and almost 20,000 indirect beneficiaries. During the 19S, we helped 2,000 families. The specific project I will be focusing on are the home centers for community development, and specifically the one in Chiapas. We work with a design model which is helping the person, which will then impact the family, and lastly, the community. We train women in human development, economic development, and community workshops. The results of the home centers during 2017 and 2018 were, only in Chiapas, 250 trained craftswomen and more than 1,000 beneficiaries. In total, in the 6 home centers, we have more than 5,000 trained craftswomen, almost 20,000 indirect beneficiaries, and more than 70,000 leads. The United Nations Development Programme has the mandate of supporting countries in their development path and coordinating the UN system at the country level. The project eligibility has to do with poverty reduction, which is the first sustainability development goal. And also the project should be aligned to several other SDGs. There are 2 available funds, which are the United Nations Peace and Development Trust Fund and Sustainable Development and Poverty Eradication. We can find several similar projects that have been funded by the UNDP. They address to the Sustainable Development Goals. For example, no poverty, which is the most important for the mandate of the UNDP, and others, for example, enhancing rural incomes and livelihoods through sustainable agricultural development and microenterprise in Bhutan, in which the grant was provided for $150,000. The home centers have the objective of developing women in self-esteem, security, and self-confidence. This increases production, capabilities, and self-employment, which then improves the lifestyle of women and their families through income increase. This aligns to the UNDP's mandate by fulfilling the SDGs No Poverty, Gender Equality, and Reduce Inequalities, but also zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, and decent work and economic growth. The activities at the home center would be planned as any professional intervention, meaning first the diagnosis, then planning the interventions and evaluations, afterwards implementing these interventions, and finally the evaluation to see the results that were achieved during this process. We already have a diagnosis, since we already know that communities live in vulnerability conditions, they have low income, there's also gender inequality, and the planning would be planned by experts in training programs, and the implementation would be done by a certified trainer. Here's a Gantt chart in which we can see the activities that should be done during a whole year of activities in the home center in Chiapas. The attraction and hiring process would be done by staff of Fundación Origen. The other activities would be done by the experts that would be hired. Before the activities of the home center start, the evaluations and interventions would be planned by the expert. Then the activities would be divided in 4 trimesters in order to be able to evaluate the improvement of the capabilities of the women. Also, after each evaluation, there would be a meeting with the expert in order to discuss improvements for the next trimester. This is the budget plan that is needed for the home center to function during a whole year. The most important tool are the handbooks in which the women can see the activities, the conclusions, and they can also work on them. There would be 120 and one for the instructor. Some expenses directly related to the home center are electricity, rent, and cleansing, which would actually happen once per week. The materials for the sessions are considered to be able to develop the activities. The expert and the instructor would be hired only during the periods that they work. All of these costs are shown in Mexican pesos, which are actually more or less 21 pesos per dollar. In total, there would be 74,000 US dollars approximately. It is important to mention that there are no administrative costs here. It means the hiring processes, for example, are going to be covered by Fundación Origen. All of these costs are directly related to the project. The rest of the expenditure is not considered in this grant proposal. Currently, we are working in a self-sustainability model in which we consider the women that can be trained in the different communities, which afterwards would be able to give crafts for online sales to Fundación Origen, and the revenue obtained from that would be enough to pay the trained craftswomen and the costs of the home center. Eventually, with more women who are trained and more crafts sold online, the revenue would be enough to pay not only the expenses of the home center, but to pay back to the UNDP. Crafts are usually underpaid in Mexico, but people from other countries are willing to buy a piece of cultural heritage of some of the most important cultures of the world. These products can include blouses, dresses, jewelry, wallets, purses, shoes, sculptures, and many others. Due to the market conditions, for example, blouses can be sold in Mexico even in $5 US, but online sales can go up to $40 per blouse. Opening for a global market through the internet is usually a good option for handcrafts. Finally, we have a SWOT analysis comparing Fundación Origen with Fundación Por Ti Mujer, which means Foundation for You Woman. Fundación Origen is registered in INDESOL, which is the organization in Mexico to register NGOs. It is a scalable project. Until now, we have 6 centers in different states of the Republic. We have countable results, and it promotes development and economic independency. This is versus assistantialism, which is actually something that many NGOs provide. We also have short and long-term results, and it is aligned to several SDGs. We have several opportunities. We can open centers in other cities and countries. We can improve by analyzing how other similar projects in the world work. We can register before ECOSOC, and Fundación Origen can do something that Fundación Por Ti Mujer actually does, which is teach about laws and their enforcement. On the other hand, our main weakness is that self-sustainability has improved for this project, but we already have the model, so we have to see if it works and to improve it if it doesn't. Our main threat is a budget dependency, which is why we are willing to be self-sustainable. We want that all the women in Mexico know that Fundación Origen is always going to listen to them. Thanks for your attention.